Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're basically putting on our lead researcher hats to brief you on a really fascinating, highly controversial overlap of ideas presented in our source material. We're looking at a space where speculative metaphysical claims, incredibly specific geopolitical hypotheses, and advanced theoretical space physics all completely collide. The sources we're analyzing today weave this really complex narrative, and it attempts to explain our global power structures through the presence of non-human intelligence. It's a wild ride for sure, but we're going to break it all down methodically, treating it as a formal academic review.
To kick things off, listen to this quote. The presence of the flying saucer UFO is as valid as a flying airplane. Now, that doesn't come from a science fiction novel. According to our sources, this is a direct public assertion from Paul Hellyer. He's the former Canadian defense minister, literally a former G8 cabinet minister. And this really sets the stage for our review today. Because when individuals at the absolute highest echelons of global defense start making these kinds of declarations, well, it forces us to at least evaluate the architecture of their claims, right?
But before we go any further, we really need to establish some firm academic ground rules for this explainer. We absolutely must separate our data into two distinct categories. On one side, we have verified space observation. This is the quantifiable stuff, astronomical data, trajectories, telescope imagery. On the other side, we have metaphysical theory. These are the unverified, highly speculative claims from our sources that link non-human intelligence to human history, politics, and power dynamics. We're going to be analyzing both of these today, but it's absolutely crucial we don't confuse the two. Okay, let's dive into this. First up, official testimonies. 2, astronomical anomalies. 3, alien factions and geopolitics. 4, ancient architecture and surveillance. And finally, number 5, advanced propulsion theories. Let's get started. Section 1. Official extraterrestrial testimonies. Here, we're assessing claims from high-ranking defense and intelligence officials.
So, our sources lean heavily on statements from two key figures. First, we have Paul Hellyer, who we just mentioned. He reportedly claimed that extraterrestrials are already here, and get this, that 2 are working directly with the US Air Force to influence military technology. Then we have Haim Eshed. He's the former Israeli space security chief, a guy who served in that role for decades. According to the source material, Eshed alleges the existence of a literal galactic federation. Furthermore, he claims there are secret treaties between this federation and the US government, specifically for exchanging technology. And honestly, the most startling claim reported here is an alleged joint underground research facility located on Mars, which is supposedly operated cooperatively by human scientists and extraterrestrials.
Now, if we apply scientific skepticism and logical consistency methods here, we have to ask a pretty tough question. Does official witness testimony actually equate to reliable evidence in the strict absence of mainstream physical proof? It's a fascinating paradox, really. We have these highly credible individuals making these incredible claims, yet mainstream space research completely lacks the physical, peer-reviewed evidence of non-human crafts that we would normally require to establish something as a scientific fact. Which leads us to Section 2. Evaluating astronomical anomalies. Basically, what happens when space objects totally defy our standard physical models. The sources focus heavily on objects like Oumuamua and another one they refer to as Three-Eye Taurus. This beautifully illustrates the contrast we're dealing with. Look at a standard asteroid or comet. It has a very predictable, gravity-bound trajectory. As it gets closer to the sun, the heat creates a visible tail of debris. We all know how that works. But Oumuamua? The sources report it exhibited frequent, entirely unexplained changes in its trajectory, almost as if it was being actively navigated, and it completely lacked a physical tail, no tail whatsoever. On top of that, the source claims these anomalous objects intentionally position themselves behind the sun during their closest approach to Earth, specifically to actively avoid our detection. Even a Harvard professor cited in the sources suggests these anomalies could actually be probes. The problem? We face severe data limitations right now. Current ground-based space observation methods simply aren't powerful enough to confirm if we're looking at extraterrestrial navigation technologies. The source material really emphasizes that advanced instruments, specifically the James Webb Space Telescope, are required to definitively verify these anomalies. We need to see if these objects emit artificial, manufactured light, or if we can pick up the thermal signatures of active, non-human propulsion systems. All right, Section 3, Alien Factions and Geopolitics. Let's analyze the source's claims regarding extraterrestrial alliances and proxy conflicts.
Our source material draws this incredibly stark binary contrast between two alleged alien factions. On one side, you have the tall whites. The sources describe them as essentially pro-capitalist. They're supposedly backing Western powers like the US and Israel technologically, and they're highly focused on maintaining global financial dominance. Then on the opposing side, you have the short grays. They are described as anti-capitalist, allied with Eastern powers like Russia and Iran, and strategically aligned against that same financial elite. Now, we are impartially mapping this out strictly as a geopolitical hypothesis reported by the source, but it's a completely fascinating way to frame earthly conflicts through a cosmic lens, isn't it?
The implications of this theory are, quite frankly, massive. The source reports claims that these secret treaties potentially undermine transparent global democratic governance altogether, shifting real-world power into the shadows. Even more radically, they allege that modern economic systems, specifically usury and interest-based banking, are actually alien-derived control mechanisms, things designed to extract wealth without labor. The text even links early US presidents and Freemasonry directly to these capitalist extraterrestrial alliances. So ultimately, this hypothesis suggests that our current global political stability, and even very specific conflicts in the Middle East and Europe, are actually influenced by these competing alien factions fighting proxy wars right here on Earth.
Which brings us to Section 4. Ancient Architecture and Surveillance, tracing the alleged extraterrestrial technological footprint through history.
Let's physically walk through this timeline presented in the source. It begins all the way back in ancient Egypt with the claim that the pyramids were not tombs at all, but rather advanced technological gifts given to pharaohs by that tall white faction. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and the source highlights Nikola Tesla, who actually theorized that the pyramids were massive wireless energy transmitters. And then finally, arriving in the modern era, this entire lineage supposedly culminates in the Eye of Providence, that symbol found prominently on the back of the US $1 bill.
Now, regarding Tesla, the source makes a super specific claim. They argue that Tesla actually successfully figured out this ancient wireless energy technology, but his research was deliberately suppressed. Why? Because free, limitless energy would completely destroy the capitalist power dynamics and the financial control mechanisms established by the tall white faction. According to the source, if they wanted to maintain economic control and keep humanity dependent, this revolutionary technological breakthrough had to be kept deeply hidden from the general population.
And then there's the Eye of Providence. The source hypothesizes that this isn't just a benign religious or Masonic symbol. Instead, it relates directly to modern surveillance and power dynamics, acting as a literal metaphysical monitoring device. The theory suggests this omnipresent eye is continuously capturing human actions, our data, and even the light or karma emanating from us, judging whether we align with the financial elite system. I mean, it's a staggering, chilling concept, right? The idea of cosmic surveillance built right into the paper currency we carry in our pockets every day.
Let's move to our final section, Section 5, Advanced Propulsion Theories, the physics of crossing the cosmos and manipulating time.
To answer the question of how these factions actually cross the vastness of the cosmos, the source transitions from metaphysical theories back into the realm of advanced theoretical physics, specifically pointing to the concept of a warp drive. By definition, a warp drive is a hypothetical propulsion technology that manipulates the space-time continuum itself. Instead of, strapping a giant rocket to a ship and moving linearly through space, a warp drive folds or compresses the actual distance between 2 points.
So the crucial point is how this actually functions in theory. Imagine space-time as a pliable fabric, like a blanket on your bed. By utilizing immense, highly advanced technology, this theory suggests you can literally fold that medium. Instead of traveling the long distance across the blanket, you pinch it, pulling your destination directly to you. This bypasses the speed of light entirely. And the sources note that this physical manipulation of space-time could also result in time dilation, effectively allowing for forward and backward time travel simply by pulling light and data from the past right into the present. And why does this specific physics theory matter so much to the overall narrative? Well, 4.2. That is the number of light years to Proxima b, which is our nearest potentially habitable exoplanet. At 4.2 light years away, traveling linearly with our conventional rockets would take tens of thousands of years. The source argues that a warp drive, folding spacetime, is quite literally the only logical physical explanation for how visitation between these distant star systems and Earth could actively be occurring. Which brings us to our conclusion for this explainer. We've looked at the speculative metaphysical hypotheses of global control and the physical theories of space-time folding crafts.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If official defense testimonies actually align with anomalous, unexplainable space observations, and if they fit perfectly within the theoretical physics of advanced propulsion, does mainstream science require a totally new paradigm to investigate non-human intelligence? Do we need to stop just looking for simple radio waves and start looking for the literal manipulation of space-time itself? It's a question that certainly leaves us with a whole lot to think about. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.